Hey.
Well, I'm Katie.
I'm Vernon. We're the Nomad Nesters. We travel around full time in an RV and try to experience all of North America. And we are loving doing it with our Trikes. So you want to tell them a little bit about why we're traveling?
Yeah, so we actually have been traveling for 10 and a half years in the RV. We did it for 9 years with our kids, our 4 kids. And then we took like a 9-year break, and we're doing it again just as empty nesters now without kids. And we really want to go and see as much as we can. And I think what we're enjoying about being able to travel so much is the fact that we're able to use our Trikes the way that we do. I have some health issues that make it really hard for me to be able to walk around a lot and to use a regular bike. So we actually use our Trikes everywhere we go. Grocery stores, hiking. We do a little bit too much off-roading. Well, he likes to off-road and do like the ocean and the mountains. And so we use them all the time. I think it's given us a freedom to be able to see more of the U.S. than a lot of our friends that actually travel just in RVs.
Yeah, we love it. Katie I call her my gypsy. She has to be able to travel and experience new things. And when we started, she got in a pop-up trailer with a pop-up tent with our 4 kids. We were in Texas, and she's like, let's just see if it will work. And she took a trip from Galveston, Texas to Forks, Washington, in cross country. And I wasn't even with her. I was still working a day job. And she's like, it works. The kids love it. Let's go. And so I had to figure out how to work online, which was not too common back in the early 2000s. And we figured it out. And we found Trike. We grabbed those up right away. We've been to all 48 states in the lower U.S. with the Trikes, and we've been to 3 countries with them.
We're taking them to Alaska next year, so we're going to hit our 49th state we've been to all 50 states, but we've only been able to bike 48 of them, so we're super excited to be able to bike through Alaska next year.
Yes, it is awesome. And Katie has done some great things with it. When our daughter was turning, how old was Zoe? 16?
16.
She was about to go in for some surgeries, and the one she wanted to do before she went was to go on a good bike ride or trike ride with Mom. And so we took her and our daughter to Newport, Oregon, and you rode down?
About 250 miles down the 101. Has anyone ever ridden down the 101 along the Washington coast before? Yeah, it's beautiful. A little scary, isn't it, on the bikes with those big logging trucks, but absolutely stunning.
Yeah, so they rode it was right around a week, unassisted. They brought their tent and sleeping bags with them and just left, and then called me a week later and said, okay, we're in the Redwoods, come get us. And
lots of fun. So we've been able to really explore the U.S., and Canada and Mexico mainly with them. And I think the thing that we're loving is just the people that we meet. We actually had an opportunity to go to the Pacific Northwest Trike
gathering.
What is it called?
It was the recumbent gathering.
Recumbent gathering. And there were a couple hundred other bike riders and recumbent riders there. And it's so fun just to meet others that love the same thing that we do and have the same hobbies.
Yeah, it was awesome. So we had 16 years with our Trike cruiser that we went everywhere with. And within the last year and a half, we upgraded to motor. We didn't have it for just about 16 of those years. And then now we have newer Trikes. We have the GTS and the Gran Turismo that have a really nice Bosch motor, which is awesome to help us try to keep up with our grandkids that travel along with us sometimes. And so we go play everywhere now.
I think, do you guys have motors are life? I've decided, I don't know what we did before motors. Yeah, two motors. That's awesome. We definitely have to have that for sure.
Yes.
And so I think it's just been really exciting. I'll just share with you really quick, and if you have questions, as we were talking about this today, some of our favorite places that we've been able to ride our Trikes. Cumberland Island is absolutely phenomenal. You can ferry over, and the really cool thing is you can actually take your Trikes. The ferry ramp is just wide enough for bikes and Trikes. We've been able to bike Cumberland Island in Georgia.
Yes, horses roaming all over the islands and roaming on the trails with you. It was fabulous.
Stunning, yeah. Mammoth Cave, Kentucky. Is it Kentucky?
Yes.
Mammoth Cave, the trails there. Yeah, you guys shaking your heads. Those trails are unbelievable, absolutely stunning. The one thing that we find interesting as we're traveling is how different each area in the United States have their biking systems and their trails set up. I know over here on the West Coast, you'll go online and you'll read that there's bike trails everywhere, but it's really just the highway. And then more out east, we're finding that we're able to have more trails as we travel.
They have some good trails out west here, like the Discovery Trails, what we've been riding lately, up in Washington. And man, it's going to probably be in my top 5 of favorite trails we ride. And I got my second land speed record on that one, but Canada still holds it for me. She doesn't like me to go too fast, but I always tell her on the downhills, just slide over, let me go flying by. But I think I hit 40 miles an hour on one downhill. So I'm not crazy fast, but it was fast. So.
And the one question that we're asked quite often is, how do we transport our bikes? And that is something that we really have found a great solution. We had some pictures for you. We've done it different ways. We've had several different RVs. We have a hitch rider. Is that
hitch rider, yeah.
A hitch rider, double trike carrier. That has been really great. We've also had them on the roof of our trucks before.
We modified a Thule bike rack so we could set, 2 wheels in the front on the other way, and then the other bike was backwards, so it had 2 wheels in the back, and they all sat on top of the cab of the truck. But the hitch rider we have stacks them one and then one on top of the other. I know they have some that sit like this on the back, but ours sit on top of each other, and they ride pretty nice. We've modified it just a little bit because there's a lot of play because it's a movable hitch rack. So I have tie-down strapped it a little tighter to the back of the RV with some D-rings so it doesn't bounce around and scare all the cars behind us when they see that thing bouncing up and down. But it's pretty awesome. I think one of the coolest things we've done in the last probably month or two is we were up in northern Washington and we decided to bike ride. We wanted to do about a 60-mile day, and we crossed the Canadian border on our Trikes through traffic, and that was a whole lot of, I don't know, they were a little perplexed. The security guards were not happy that we were not in a vehicle doing it like everybody else, but it worked, and it was pretty awesome. So
we got to ring a doorbell to get into Canada. It was quite a fun thing. So
yes. You're normally driving a car or you're walking. And so when you're bringing a trike through, you have to go through a set of doors, which, if you've ever tried to roll your trike through a set of doors, that's not an easy thing to do. So that one was tough, but we have loved it. And we have taken I wish I could get my photos up. We have hauled our trikes on our 44-foot fifth wheel behind our truck, all the way down into Mexico and all up and down the coast. And we had a Class C, a little short Class C for a while that we hauled them all over the East Coast with. Like Katie said, we're really excited as this winter happens. We're going to be blessed to have 2 twin grandkids born. And as soon as they're born and when our daughter is, back and moving, we are leaving our fifth wheel, putting a truck camper on the back of our truck and driving up to Alaska to go trike all through Canada and up into Alaska. So that's going to be pretty fun. And how are we going to end that year? Where are we heading to after Alaska?
We'll be in Mexico, and we thoroughly love. Have any of you been able to trike or bike around Mexico yet? All right, Mexico is amazing. If you have a chance to bike in Mexico, we're doing Baja this time. And it's incredible because as you go through, some of our good friends, they rode their bikes from the top of Alaska down to the bottom of South America. And we've talked to them with different areas. And throughout Mexico, it's amazing because you're able to ride through all of the smaller towns. The roads are wide enough. People are just so friendly. So we're super excited to have that opportunity again this year.
Yes, it's gonna be a blast. But I mean, ultimately, the trikes with, as Katie mentioned, just some health challenges that were thrown her way have been the instrument that has made sure nothing stops her. And she doesn't let anything stop her. Like,
I can ask for water. I think Sesame Street Spanish, I decided. Everything I learned from watching Sesame Street as a child, and that's about it. Very good question. We need to learn.
We have started to try to pick that up, but I need to learn faster. So it'll make that a little easier.
Any questions? Like the one thing that we love to share the most about having the opportunity to travel is be able to see new areas. But really, we really do use I would say, depending on where we are, we use our Trikes about 60% of the time. Once we park, we take them everywhere for grocery shopping, restaurants, traveling, sightseeing, everything that we do. And we love the flexibility in that. And so we really love to encourage others to try. If you have the opportunity, even if it's a weekend for a week, try to go. But if you can bring your Trike with you, you get to see more of the area because you really get to get out there and just travel the smaller streets. You get to meet people, you get to talk. You're right at that level. It's a lot of fun.
And I would say my caveat with all of that is Trikes are a really good investment to get you out, but it's worth spending time for the security side of it too. I spent a lot of time researching what's the best way to lock these things up and make sure no one else is enjoying them without our permission. And we carry a very thick chain. It's over 14 mLs. It's just big enough that standard bolt cutters can't open up the jaws enough to get around it, which is pretty big. And it's kind of heavy, but you can only get that chain off with a grinder or the key. So I feel really safe when those things are locked up that no one's going to be walking off with our Trikes, because we hit a lot of places and you never know where you are sometimes. So I like to be sure they're safe. Yes, we have an Instagram page at nomad.nesters, but I love piecing together all of our rides into clips, and they're just fun. We really have a good time. The other day, though, we did have a pretty overly exciting ride going into Ilwaco, but a lot of downhills. There's, I think, the few people we've talked to that have ridden this part of Discovery Trail, they say it's like a 20% grade. I don't think it's that.
It's called the roller coaster trail, which kind of made me nervous. I'm like, I can do this, but it was definitely more than we expected.
It was a lot of uphill and downhill. So I got to go real fast, and it wasn't always the best thing to be doing, but it was so much fun. So it was great.
But any questions or any trails you want to share? We love to share trails. We love to answer questions.
I have a question.
Yeah.
The hitch rider that you have that you use your Trikes on, is it rated for the back of your fifth wheel? Because oftentimes they are not. There's very few that are fifth wheel rated because there's so much whip that you dump them on the highway. So I wondered if you use it for that configuration.
Our son-in-law, they ended up with our old cruiser Trikes, and he bought a hitch rider that is a very small bar that goes into his. And I would venture to say that one might not be. Now, we did the same thing with his. I bolt in D-rings on the left and right side of my fifth wheel, and I put a tie-down strap around the hitch rider to those D-rings so it stops the whip and it gets rid of the bounce. Because we did have early on, when the Trikes were on top of the truck, when we were hauling back in 2007, and all of our 4 kids' bikes were on the back, we did lose that bike rack going down the freeway. And the trucker was nice enough to tell us, hey, you just lost. There were 3 of the bikes that went flipping at 70 miles an hour down the freeway, and one was stuck underneath shooting sparks like a fireworks show. And so I definitely secure the racks a little differently now. But the one I have is a very thick Class 3 hitch attachment. It's very strong on there. So there was someone in the back.
Have you had experiences in national parks on your Trikes?
Yes, that's actually one of our favorite things to do. We just went up to the Olympic National Park up in Washington, and we just were able to ride all the way through the Ho. We've done parts of the parks in California, a lot of parks in Utah. We try to do as many national parks as possible, and we found that they're all super friendly and easy to navigate for sure. The last 5 years, with so many people working at home and working online, the RV world has grown. And so you need reservations for most of the national parks to get in and things now. So traffic is definitely there's a lot more traffic. So it's different than it used to be. But we find that once we get a little further out from like visitor centers and areas, we're able to really enjoy those parks for sure.
Yeah.
Any that you love, that you recommend, that you think we should go to?
planning to go to Utah this fall. I'm hoping that's a good time.
Yeah.
Crowds.
Yeah, for the southern trails, for the southern parks, that would be great.
We'll be in Utah this fall also. Definitely recommend Zion's for sure. Bryce is amazing. If you get up towards Salt Lake City, that area up there, they have the Provo Canyon, and you're able to actually ride your bikes. There's a bike trail from the bottom of Provo up and over into Heber, up towards Park City. There's some beautiful park trails up there also.
That's great. We actually had a really fun advantage while we were in the Hoh Rainforest. Once we got in we were fortunate enough to get a camping site, and it's very hard to do. So we were there with our RV, but they normally say you're waiting in line in your vehicle to get into the park. Sometimes 5 hours?
It's 2 to 4 hours to get into the park.
It's crazy. And so we wanted to go out to the store, but we knew if we left and came back with our vehicle, we're going to wait in line just to get back to our campsite for the whole day. So we took our trikes, rode out of the park, did the shopping we wanted, and rode back and rode past every one of those cars to the guard gate and went on in. It was so nice. We love that. Skip in the lines.
The other question.
It sounds like you aren't too intimidated by riding on the roads like we are. We tend to stick to the paved trails. So y'all evidently ride on regular motor roads quite a bit.
Depending on where we are, we do. It truly depends too. Like we were just up in Seattle, and we thought we'd ride into the city, but the roads, we have the opportunity to check out the roads a lot. So before we do some, we'll definitely ride the area first to make sure it's safe. I used to be a lot more confident when I was in my 30s. I was like, I could do anything, like riding my bike down the 101. It's considered a bike route, but it's really a 2-lane highway with the logging trucks. Say as we get a little bit less adventurous, at least for me, he keeps getting more adventurous. I'm losing my adventure as we get older. I definitely stay on the paths a lot more than
But I will say, when my wife and my daughter did that ride down the 101 to California, I was very nervous about that. I did put a lot of it. I took some 1-inch dowel rods across the back to put lights to show the width of their vehicle to every passerby, just so they knew. I had a lot of extra lights on it. But they did okay. And our ride to Vancouver, when we went across the Canadian border to get up on our way to Vancouver, at some points we were on beautiful trails, but some of it you're riding right through the city.
We ended up right on the main highway there. We definitely are. We try to be as safe as possible. We definitely are lit up. We do have a lot of flags, a lot of lights constantly. I think it really depends on where we're at, though, honestly.
And my new one is that molten orange, so I'm pretty bright bike.
So his bike is very glowy, is what we call it. Stands out pretty well. So. I think that the one thing that we found too is really utilizing the space that we have. That's one reason why we really love the way that we're able to travel, is especially the new bags that Trike has specifically, like for our style of bike. I don't know if they fit all types of trikes, but definitely the Trike bags we have on our Trikes, we really can, I really can get 7 bags of groceries on my bike if I need to. We can bring our sleeping bags. We bring our fly rods with us to go fishing. And so utilizing the space, that's one thing that we love, is that we're able to travel, not too heavily, but we're really able to take everything that we have with us. We always have full rain gear. Just never know. We were on a bike ride last couple days ago. And it was beautiful weather. We're up in the Pacific Northwest. And by the time we got home, it was just sheets and sheets of just rain. And so that is one thing that we really try to do, is just, we over prepare. We take that Boy Scout philosophy, and we just always have worst case scenario with us just to be safe. So,
What about bike apps? Do any of you use any specific route apps that you enjoy? Well, that one I use. I don't have my phone here. I'm trying to think about the other one that I use, but that one's a good one. So
there used to be Crazy Guy on a Bike. I don't think they're very popular anymore.
Okay.
That one I haven't And All Trails is one that I use as well. That's the one we use getting up through Canada and ended up on some absolutely beautiful rides. So that one's great. If I had my screen, I would share it with you. But I would say go play. If you get really bored, go play on an Instagram page and find our trike rides. And then please tell us when we're getting close to where you guys are, what routes we need to be taking. We love hearing from people so we know where we need to go, bike riding when we're in areas. So what about anything else? Any other favorite places or crazy stories you like to share?
I'm always curious when we meet other bikers, distance. How many of you are long distance, like camping? We just met a couple people down at this rally, and it was really fun. We met a lady who, she has a big YouTube channel. I can't remember what her name is, but she's in the United States with her trike, and that.
Sylvia Helper.
Is it?
Sylvia.
Yes. Yes. Quite a gal. Oh my goodness. So inspiring, huh?
Are you guys hitting your same routes over and over? Are you out finding new routes? What's your plan? Yours?
Always looking for new ideas that are relatively close to
Yeah.
home. So,
Most of you up in the Ohio area, or have you traveled to get there?
we're from Alabama.
Alabama. Okay.
Okay.
Michigan. Oh, Wisconsin. California. Wow. You went a long way.
That's a good jump. There's some good routes down there.
I have been really surprised with the trails in Michigan. I have been overwhelmed just with that. We have a lot of friends saying, you got to go to Michigan. And I can't believe everything in Michigan. It's amazing.
Yes. And I really enjoy, like Katie was just talking about the bags that we have. I have the lower bag. It's a long bag. I don't know if Tori has one there to show later, but my fly rod fits right in it. And man, I can go take these trails out, go find me a river crossing somewhere and go play for a while and then come back home after. Oh, guys, it's so awesome. I love getting out on these things. And I mean, they're cool too. If you get to be the anomaly on the bike trail, everyone wants to stop and talk to you. So I say, what is this thing?
Except we did have our first experience last week. We ran into 2 baby bears. They were about 2 years old. That to me was a little scary because I'm like, if there's a baby bear, there's a mama. And I kept thinking, all right, how fast can I really ride? And Vern said, I only have to ride faster than you, so I don't have to worry about it. And I thought, well, dang it. That's it. So we definitely have had some amazing experiences.
The eagles that.
Oh, the other day we were on a beach and there was a pylon, like a
marker.
And we weren't even paying attention. And we were riding on the beach, which we probably shouldn't have, but it was just the most beautiful, beautiful ride. In Washington State, the beach is actually considered a highway. So you're allowed to ride vehicles. And bikes, and the sand is quite hard. And we were going and we weren't really paying attention. And literally like 3 feet above our head and 4 feet away from us was this massive bald eagle just sitting there.
Because the pipe he was sitting on was no more than 6 to 8 feet high, and he's just sitting on that as we ride by right next to our trike, and that finally disturbed him enough that he just opened his wings and started taking off right above our head. Oh, it was beautiful.
We were on the riding last week. We were riding along the beach, and there was a massive sea lion just sitting right in front of us. And so the one thing we really love about this is I'm not able to walk very long distance. My blood pressure drops and I pass out. And so having the experience to still be able to go in nature, and especially with the motor, it gives me so much more freedom. But we saw moose, we've seen elk, bears. The bears were exciting for us this last time.
And the grandkids love the snakes. We always find snakes, and they always have to stop because I don't mind picking them up usually. And so we'll pick them up and handle them and then put them on their way. Yeah. It's fun.
It's been a really great way to see the United States. We're not retired yet. We want to be one day, so we still work part-time. And this lifestyle has given us just the opportunity to go out and see things that we never thought we could. And that's the one thing that we really love about the freedom of just our bikes and the people. I'm sure you guys are all there right now, and you came from so many different states, but isn't this community amazing? Such a great community of just people with like interests. We love it.
Yes. Well, guys, thank you for letting us come and take up your time.
Thank you.
Yes.
Enjoy. I wish we were there in person. We're all a little jealous.
Yes,
Are you guys having such a good time?
Good. Well, we look forward to hearing from you all, and hopefully next venture we'll be together there with you. So thank you so much. You guys have a great conference.
And thank you, Tori, for putting it together for us.